Book 1, Law of Salimi, Chapter 35, Path of Adversity. It seemed to me that living in my new home with a person whom I would refer to Respondent 008 in this book was the point in my life where I learned to discover the true path of adversity. In all honesty, this part of my life does not belong to me. Instead, it was the life story of Respondent 008, which I had discovered in the point of his life where he had to turn around his life. I had interviewed him so that I could use his life story as part of my research, but it seemed that he was not too keen to have his information to be known into the public. Hence, I will not discuss in much details about him. I would only refer him to Respondent 008 in this chapter of the book. When I was staying at Puchong, I was living with Respondent 008 and his wife. It was a small apartment that was owned by my father. At that particular time, Respondent 008's life story was not known to anyone. Essentially, during that point in time, his situation in life was kept as a secret from anyone. Before I had arrived into his life to pursue my study for my degree at UiTM campus Shah Alam, Respondent 008 and his wife were just recently reached to the point in their life where they had nothing on them. They were penniless except for Rm50 ringgit in their hand, while both were unemployed. They were panicking about their future plan whilst deciding to not share their dire condition with anyone of their family members. Soon, while driving on their unpaid small kancil car, they saw people selling fried bananas or goreng pisang on the side of a street. So they decided to pack whatever cooking tools that they had, found a suitable location to set up a small table, and started to sell fried bananas using the only money that they had, which was 50 ringgit. It was their last resort in their pursuit of surviving in their life. He used some of the money to buy bananas and other necessary tools. He ended up using all of the money, which they began preparing the fried bananas and to sell them on the side of a street in Puchong. As the first customer came to make a purchase, he had to ask the customer to wait, took the money, and purchased a plastic bag to put the fried bananas for the customers. That day onward, they made some money, which allowed them to eat and continued selling the fried bananas. As time goes on, the business managed to stay afloat and thus enabled them to pay their overdue car payment. Moreover, they began to save up whatever money they had to plan for a new and better future, knowing that the unlicensed fried banana stall would not last. When I arrived to stay with them, I was discovering their secret fried banana stall, which was not known by their family members. So I began helping him to sell fried bananas on the side of a street in the Puchong area after I completed my classes. From the experience, I began to discover about his path of adversity in life. Regardless of my hardship that I had to endure in my life experience, it seemed that his challenging life was the path of true adversity and hardship. It made me understand his difficulty and become an extremely valuable life lesson. After saving up enough money, Respondent 008 informed me about opening a baby diaper shop close to our home in Puchong. I began to help him as much as I can as the salesperson without salary. The shop began to open in a poor state. He had to set up his own racks made up from thrown wood that he gathered for free. Despite the condition, I can see that he had made up a strong will to face his life adversity, which he would never give up. On the first day, the baby diapers shop received 1 or 2 customers who came and asked some questions about the shop. In the next day, There were a small amount of purchase, but the number of customers who knew about the shop existed began to slowly increase. Soon, at the end of the month, the sale was barely enough to make up for the rent. Nonetheless, the sales of baby diapers started to increase slowly but surely. After a while, the shop managed to generate a small profit, while he began to establish another shop in a different area selling the same baby diapers. As time passed, both shops started to generate a moderate amount of income for his family. As more times elapsed, the business were growing. Some shops were open and some were closed. Notwithstanding, failure of any kind does not seem to deter his will to move forward. It seemed as if he had developed the ability of being immune from failure and the inability of giving up in life. This was a seriously unique ability to have, which was developed out of pure survival instinct on his and his wife's life. The reason that I could record such detailed information throughout the development process of their business was because I was their salesperson without any salary for about 1 year or so, as well as an acting advisor for business decision made by Respondent 008. I was having the best seat in the house to see their life and their undeterred ferocity facing adversity and challenges in life. Next, as time passed, they began to plan towards establishing a different form of business, considering that the trend of baby diapers in their shops were beginning to wane down. So they embarked to establish a small shop that sells food on the street at Bangi, Selangor. Their focus began to shift towards the restaurant business as the market for their baby diapers began to shrink because of their inability to compete against giant hypermarkets. After a while, he began to open another restaurant in a different area of Bangi, which was at Jalan Reko. Just like the business of baby diapers, they began to face adversities of restaurant business. Some shops were successful while others failed. Nonetheless, their immunity to giving up made them move forward with their next plan. It seemed that they were always working very hard to ensure that their businesses were successful. It was very rare for me to observe them laying back and doing nothing. They always had to work up to 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning, establishing, testing, packing, and every other possible things that needed to be done for their restaurant businesses. It seemed that they had never complained or giving up when facing failures in their effort. According to them, every failure led them closer to another path for success in life. Although I don't think that Respondent 008 would admit to ever saying such statement in front of me or anyone. At this moment in time, their business had reached a good size and grew into a well-established restaurant businesses. How many restaurants do they have exactly? Honestly, I do not know because they seem to always had numerous other plans and secret businesses that they had already begun working on developing and establishing. If I'm not mistaken, they had about 100 of employees working in their restaurants, as well as some other businesses in the sales of food cutleries and items related to food industries. Why exactly am I analyzing their businesses? The answer to that was because I had included their business as one of my case study in my thesis, which I would definitely explore in the future chapter. What could I say about their business? Success would be due to several significant attributes that they had upheld since the first fried banana business took place until the present day. One of those attributes would be of their ability to brazenly try anything in life and overcome adversity regardless of outcome or in their attempts. Respondent 008 seemed to be immune from giving up in life after experiencing numerous failures in their businesses. Next, they also managed to establish several backup plans which would be employed whenever they face failures. It means that that they were always improving and developing new tactics toward becoming a successful entrepreneurs. Third element, which seemed to be extremely important, would be their savings of money in order to pursue their business plans, especially backup plans whenever failure appeared in their life. It means that they started their first business selling fried bananas with 50 ringgit as capital. From that point onward, they never took any loan or develop their business. Everything was funded from their savings gathered in earlier business attempts. Without taking any loans, every failure does not tie them down and stop them from moving forward. As long as they had savings, they could move forward with a new plan of business, which ensured that their business managed to reach a good amount of growth until the present time. The fourth attribute that would be the fact that they behave in accordance to the teachings of Islam. Regardless of the situation, respondent 008 never seemed to commit on anything that was prohibited in Islam, which include taking up loans where it might involve in riba. The intention in business seemed towards helping others by providing employment and taking care of their employees. I remembered that they never focused in the pursuit of money, but instead they were in the business of helping others. At times, when they see others who need help, they were always willing to help as much as they can. Their actions reflect the practice of Islam in their way of life. They always help the poor and needy, including orphans. I heard that they had always given free food to individuals who were hungry but did not have the money to pay for it. The kindness and generosity in helping others in need was a serious boon in their life to receive blessings from Allah the All-Knowing. In addition, even at this point in time, where their business had been considered to be very successful, they had never been arrogant and behaving selfish in their life. It seemed that respondent 008 practiced living in moderation as encouraged by the teachings of Islam, regardless of the amount of success that they had achieved in their life so far. Their business began from a very humble beginning, had left them to remain humble in their life regardless of their success, retaining their helpful and selfless characteristics to help others around them had kept them grounded and grateful to Allah the Merciful. There are much more details that I could include about their life story, but I guess that I had highlighted the significant events based on my own perception about respondent 008 and his wife. In comparison to his adversity, my life would be extremely easy. However, I reckon that my true point of adversity might not even started for me yet. Or it might be possible that I was facing a different kind of adversity in my own life experience. Nevertheless, I had nothing but respect for the experience against adversity that was faced by respondent 008 and his wife. It is extremely difficult to remain humble and down to earth when an individual had reached a vast amount of success in life, yet both of them seem to hold a certain secret that managed to let them sustain their moderation in living. I bet several of those attributes mentioned in this chapter had a huge contribution behind their secret of being selfless and helpful to others in their life. Regardless of the real truth hiding behind their their life story, I am grateful to Allah the All-Knowing for having to witness respondent 008 facing great adversity in their life. Thank you very much for listening for chapter 35, and hope to see you again in the next video for chapter 36. Thank you for listening and hope to see you in the next video.